Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. Well, the New Orleans Pelicans are back in action tonight at home against a good Eastern team, the Washington Wizards. And the Pelicans, well, they're coming off of a really good performance over the weekend. And, Lenny, it's time for this team to put together a certifiable win streak. They've not had one this year. They've won back-to-back games 4 times, but they've not won 3 in a row yet. And if they want to be a true contender in the West, they're going to have to put together a win streak as the schedule gets a little bit more favorable.
It does. The only thing that does not get more favorable is just the home versus road. They will play 2 games at home this week, tonight against Washington, as you mentioned, Friday against Memphis, 2 very good teams, but then you head out of town for 5 in a row. So it's, this is an opportunity, although the schedule does get friendlier when you get on the road because a lot of it is in the East against some of the bottom feeders there. But that said, you're right. That's got to happen. You can, tread water a little bit with these wins and losses. And, we talked about it, in the update last week, that the chance that got away against San Antonio, you'd be on a 3-game winning streak right now. But it's been that way, all season, and in particular the last couple of weeks where they have alternated win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And now it's time to at least get back to a 2-game winning streak again, the chance to do that tonight against Washington and then try to continue it here through the week.
Eric Gordon expected to return to action tonight. We'll see if that happens. And he admits himself he's rusty. Lenny, it really is interesting to see how it's going to impact this team, Jimmer Fredette in particular, because he's really played well over the last 3 games, and he's drawn the praise of everyone, and he would be a guy that probably would be impacted.
Yeah, he would certainly lose minutes, if not drop out of the rotation altogether when Gordon comes back. Exactly how do you work these things? Although Fredette got the opportunity when John Salmons was out, so it's, who knows? Maybe it's Salmons that drops out of the rotation. We'll see how it all plays out, and I think a lot of it's going to depend, game to game on matchups, and you've got some flexibility in terms of, different size wing players depending on what it is you're going up against in terms of how you make these matchups happen.
We'll see. It's Monty Williams' problem, and he'll have to work it out, and we'll find out starting against the Washington Wizards tonight. Where the New Orleans Saints are concerned, Mickey Loomis holds a presser on Tuesday. Availability to the media. Lenny, I don't know that there's anything specific on the horizon, on the agenda. Bottom line is he will be available and perhaps will comment on coaching changes and maybe about contracts, although I suspect he won't comment much on any of those things.
No, they generally play it close to the vest. What you hear from Mickey Loomis really 3 times a year. The start of camp, at the end of the season, and right around draft time. And after that, he's not talking much. So it's going to be interesting to see what indeed he has to say that this is a scheduled availability. And again, with some of the news on Friday that there have been some coaching changes made, interesting that it appears now that maybe McGriff is going to stay on board and not take the offer from Vanderbilt to go be defensive coordinator there. So, all in all, I guess we'll find out more from Mickey on Tuesday.
Of course, the NFL playoffs well underway. First weekend was pretty interesting. The second weekend should be even better when you look at some of these matchups, including Peyton Manning going against the Colts, including a rematch of the Ice Bowl, among others, and these are really good matchups.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that Dallas and Green Bay have only played 1 time in the playoffs in Green Bay, and that was the Ice Bowl. We're going to start hearing John Facenda's voice all over again, the frozen tundra. I'm nowhere close, I'm sorry, but, but they're really, and really, I think the most intriguing matchup of all is the first one on Saturday, Baltimore-New England. I think if you're Bill Belichick and the Patriots, that is the one thing you did not want to see happen. That is the one team on the AFC side that I think is not afraid of the big bad wolf that is the New England Patriots, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. And that would not surprise me if Baltimore went into Foxborough and won that game on Saturday.
Baltimore, in my opinion, is the only team that can beat New England. That's the worst matchup they could have. They've beaten them 2 of 3 times in the playoffs in recent history. And Joe Flacco, you know about his postseason record, 10-4 since 2008, 7 of those wins on the road. That's what you have to keep in mind. And John Harbaugh, great coach. His brother's gotten a lot of attention. This guy deserves more credit.
He does. The guy's got a ring on his finger and, certainly does not get the credit that he deserves and, gets in the playoffs and wins, too, so as you mentioned.
College bowl game fatigue. Are you there yet? You can read my piece at sportsnoah.com, and it's been all offense. Very little defense played in bowl games, and one more to go, the national championship game, Ohio State and Oregon. And, Lenny, that one figures to be a score fest as well.
It does. Based on what we've seen all season long, all bowl season long from these two teams, of course, defense will play a part, but the score may not reflect it because somebody has to make a stop at some point to keep the score to some salvageable point. And, exactly how many points will be scored in this game, I could certainly see it getting to 80 or more.
High school soccer and wrestling well underway. You can follow all of our daily reports at sportsnoah.com, but the focus on basketball, of course, at this stage of the year, boys and girls, and a big tournament coming up later this week. We're one of the sponsors, sportsnoah.com, of the Allstate Sugar Bowl National Prep Classic, Wednesday through Saturday. Really good field of girls and boys teams, and we'll have the finals for you live, both girls and boys, at sportsnoah.com. Should be fun.
It should be fun, and you look at it from a number of perspectives when you start talking about high school sports. One is just the team aspect and who are the best teams, and the other part is the individuals, the recruits, and no better than Ben Simmons, Montverde Academy at Florida, already signed with LSU. Tiger fans get a chance to come out and take a look at what's going to be wearing purple and gold next year and a chance to really elevate this program. LSU got a huge commitment in basketball as well on Friday. That team is doing pretty well this year. They've got a chance to be extraordinarily good next year.
Yeah, Blakeney, really good. So you're looking at a great future for Johnny Jones and the LSU Tigers. Kudos to the Allstate Sugar Bowl for sponsoring this basketball tournament, and to our own Ed Daniels of sportsnoah.com and ABC 26 for his hard work, too. Should be a fun week, Lenny. We look forward to it. Don't forget, Sports Noah TV special time.
Right, 5 o'clock on Monday. In fact, our entire sports block this week, all the shows you love to watch all week long, 5 o'clock all this week on WHNO TV 20. So don't forget it. And we'd be remiss in not mentioning as well college basketball getting underway in full force in conference play with a huge win by Tulane on Saturday at Memphis, and UNO opening conference play Monday night against a familiar face, Tick Price and Lamar coming into town.
Yep, LSU, Tulane doing well, Tick Price in town. And don't sleep on the Loyola women, who are 12-0 and ranked in the top 10 nationally. They're awfully good. We'll have a story on them coming up, too, I promise. So there you go. That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNoah.com. Lenny, have a great week.
All right, we'll see you later this week.
And Happy New Year to you, one and all. We'll talk to you later on this week. Until then, God bless you.